Welcome to Speak English Podcast with Rory and Alex.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into a problem that is, I think, intensely frustrating for anyone learning a second language.
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge one.
It's that gap, right? The gap between knowing English and actually speaking English.
Right. The classic, I can understand everything, but when I try to talk.
Exactly. You can read these complex articles, you ace every grammar test, you can understand native speakers perfectly, but then you open your mouth and everything just slows down.
Or you freeze up entirely.
Yeah.
And it's so demoralizing. You feel like your brain has all the data, but your output speed is just glacial.
Right.
But our sources today, they all confirm this isn't a sign that you're not intelligent enough or that you haven't studied hard enough. The problem is one of fundamental coordination.
So our mission today is to treat this like a skill gap, not just a knowledge gap. We're kind of taking English fluency out of the lecture hall.
And putting it into the gym.
Exactly. Into the gym. If you want to achieve true fluency, you need to stop viewing it as a purely academic subject and start treating yourself like a language athlete.
The physical and mental shift is, well, it's key. The central insight we got from all the material is that fluency needs this two-pronged approach.
Okay.
You have to train the articulatory system, so the physical mechanics of your lips, tongue, jaw, and crucially, you need to retrain the mind to stop that costly habit of internal translation.
Let's unpack the physical side first, because I think a lot of learners, they just completely overlook this part. When we talk about speaking being a physical challenge, the sources kept bringing up muscle memory.
Think about it this way. Speaking your native language is an embedded physical skill. It's like riding a bicycle or playing a scale on the piano.
Or even typing on a keyboard.
Yes, you repeat that physical action until your nervous system develops this streamlined, permanent memory for that sequence. You don't consciously think, okay, now I need to move my left index finger. It just happens.
And when we speak, we're not thinking, okay, I need to curl my tongue for this R sound. Your mouth just knows where to go. But wait. If I speak my native language fluently every single day, shouldn't that muscle memory, prepare my mouth for English?
That's a great question, and it gets right to the core of the difficulty here.
Okay.
The reason English presents such a unique challenge is that while your mouth is highly trained for your native language, the patterns and the muscle groups you're using are entirely different.
How different can it really be?
Well, consider the vowels alone. Unlike languages that might have, say, 4, 5, maybe 7 vowel sounds, English has a whopping 16 different vowel sounds.
16, wow.
Yeah. Think about the difference between hit and heat, or caught and caught. These sounds require these tiny micro-adjustments in your tongue positioning that might be completely unnecessary in your first language.
That makes it sound like choreography.
It absolutely is choreography. One expert we read, he noted that for the long E sound, as in C, the tongue has to be incredibly high up and pushed forward in the mouth, almost like the spine of a camel's back.
A camel's back.
Right. And if your tongue is lazy or it's untrained for that specific topography, that sound is going to come out slightly wrong, or your mouth is just going to get tired really fast.
So it's not just a flat sound. It's a constant, detailed, three-dimensional movement inside your mouth that you have to master. I think this connects to why learners freeze up they're treating speaking as this purely intellectual thing.
Exactly. Speaking is a creative action. You are actively forming new sounds and patterns using physical structures. If you only focus on the intellectual, the vocabulary, the grammar, you develop what the sources call a lazy mouth.
A lazy mouth. I like that.
You know the words, but you haven't given your articulators the practice they need to produce them quickly and naturally. And the result is choppy, tiring, and just slow output.
So we have to wake up these sleeping muscles. Okay, let's get specific. What's the recommended 5-minute gym routine? What exercises actually target pronunciation and articulation speed?
We've got 3 key drills that come recommended by articulation coaches. The first one is for your lips and your breath control. It's lip trills.
The motorboat sound?
Precisely. You vibrate your lips while blowing air through them, that brrr sound. You should hear a steady, even buzz.
Okay. And what's the goal with that?
It's twofold. First, it warms up and strengthens the muscles that are crucial for sounds like P, B, and M. But second, and maybe more importantly, it relaxes the lips. It gets rid of tension.
I always thought of tension as anxiety, but you're saying tension literally restricts the physical movement you need for clear speech.
Absolutely. When people are stressed or concentrating too hard on language, they often unconsciously clench their jaw or tighten their lips.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the second drill. jaw loosening. You just open your mouth wide like a big luxurious yawn, and then you gently move your jaw from side to side or forward and back. You're just aiming for maximum relaxation and range of motion.
That feels incredibly strange, but also fantastic. And that explains why sometimes when you're speaking quickly, your jaw starts to ache. It's fighting the movement.
It is. Now, the third drill targets a very specific pain point for a lot of learners. The dreaded nunt sound drill.
Ah, yes.
This sound, both the voiced one, like in this, and the unvoiced, like in this just doesn't exist in most global languages.
So how do we train for it?
The problem is usually placement. Learners often substitute a D or a T sound because they keep their tongue behind their teeth.
Right.
For the T, you practice placing the very tip of your tongue gently between your upper and lower teeth, and you let a thin stream of air escape. This drill is purely about training that precise placement and controlled airflow.
The difference between 3F and D is so tiny, but it's physically profound.
It really is.
So that feels like real physical therapy for the mouth. Now, how often do we have to be this language athlete? Do we need like an hour a day for this?
No, and that's the good news. Our sources, particularly the educator Elizabeth Marbrooks, they emphasize consistency over duration.
Okay.
She strongly recommends students do a combination of vowel and consonant exercises for only 3 to 5 minutes, but 4 times each day. That repetition is what builds robust muscle memory quickly.
3 to 5 minutes, 4 times a day. That's actually manageable. I can do that while I'm waiting for coffee or something.
And here's the crucial detail she emphasizes. Use a mirror.
Oh, interesting. Why?
You need to observe your mouth movements while you practice these sounds. This helps you develop what's called proprioception, your body's internal awareness of where your muscles are. You need to know, without looking, whether your tongue is in that camel's back position or not.
That awareness is key to self-correction and ultimately to fluency. So we've covered isolated muscle training. But speech isn't isolated. It's all about coordinated movement. Which brings us to the secret weapon that combines the physical training with massive linguistic input, shadowing.
Right?
This is where the whole system starts to fire.
Shadowing is revolutionary for fluency. It was developed by the polyglot Alexander Arguelles, and the core definition is deceptively simple. You listen to a spoken audio track, a news report, a podcast, whatever.
And you repeat it.
You simultaneously repeat it out loud, imitating everything.
You mean everything, not just the words.
Everything. You imitate the sound, the rhythm, the pitch, the intonation, the pace, all without stopping or consciously trying to analyze the meaning of the words. You are literally following the speaker like a shadow in real time.
That sounds incredibly challenging. I mean, trying to process language while you're simultaneously producing it. Why is forcing that simultaneous action so powerful?
It works because it forces you to bypass your analytical brain and engage your language production reflexes. It has these really robust theoretical foundations. First, there's the imitative theory.
Okay.
It suggests this is how we're actually designed to learn. It mirrors how children learn their first language by copying sounds long before they understand grammar.
So we're kind of hacking the way our brain acquires language in the first place.
Exactly. And second, it utilizes the output hypothesis by providing immediate, sustained vocalization. You are constantly producing spoken English.
Right.
Which is the only way to reinforce your spoken production skills and accelerate those communicative reflexes. You learn fluency by doing it, not by just thinking about it.
And if you're engaging both the ears and the mouth at the same time, you're hitting 2 channels of input.
Right. That's the third foundation, cognitive load theory. By engaging your auditory and oral channels at the same time, you're forcing the brain to process more information at once, which enhances short-term memory and promotes stronger long-term retention of those sound patterns and rhythmic chunks.
It's overwhelming at first, but that high cognitive load is actually what drives the progress.
It is.
And the practical benefits are massive. We saw that one study reported 82% of students felt less anxious about speaking English after regular shadowing practice. And anxiety is such a huge barrier to fluency.
It really is. Shadowing takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
You aren't creating original content. You're just echoing. It helps you focus on the flow and the sound, rather than getting paralyzed by the fear of making a grammatical mistake.
That anxiety reduction is a huge win. But what if a learner is just extremely shy, or they have to commute on a crowded bus or something? Our sources mentioned a workaround, didn't they?
They did. It's called silent shadowing. You still listen to the audio, but you just copy the mouth and tongue movements without making any sound.
So you're mouthing along.
You're mouthing along. You still get the benefits of physically training the articulatory muscles and the rhythm, but without any vocal embarrassment. It's a great stepping stone to build the habit until you feel comfortable speaking out loud.
Okay, that covers the physical gym and the coordinated exercise. Now we need to tackle the biggest roadblock in conversation. The mental gymnastics of translation.
This is the translation tax.
Yeah.
Every fluent speaker needs to eliminate that intermediate step of translating thoughts from their native language into English.
Right.
If you're stuck mid-conversation because you are internally processing, okay, how do I say X in English? That lag just ruins your flow.
We've all been there. You know the words, but you're just waiting for the buffer to fill.
That's the perfect analogy. And psychologists have measured this cost. That conscious language switching, translating words and structures back and forth, it slows your brain down by nearly 200 milliseconds.
Wow.
And that 0.2 of a second is enough to make a conversation feel noticeably clunky. Our goal is to form direct mental associations.
We need to bypass the native language dictionary entirely. So the moment I see a chair, I think chair, not the translated word. So what are the specific drills to build this instantaneous mental fluency?
We have several really actionable drills. The first one is highly accessible. Narrate your actions, silently or aloud. Just describe your daily life in simple English sentences. No complex grammar needed. I'm making tea now. The traffic is bad. I feel cold. You're just building an internal running English commentary.
Turn your life into a boring but useful English movie script. I love that.
Next up, try word chains. This trains associative speed.
How does that work?
You quickly connect words in English only by association. For example, coffee leads to morning, which leads to work, which leads to office, meeting, stress. The rule is just speed and zero translation.
So you're skipping that intermediate translation step completely, just letting the English words guide the next thought.
You also need structured visualization. Whenever you learn a new word, attach it directly to an image, a feeling, or an action, not the native language equivalent.
So if you see the word elated, don't translate it to understand it. You visualize yourself jumping for joy.
Precisely. And this ties right into the next mental tool, phrases over words. Instead of memorizing delay and meeting separately, you learn ready-to-use chunks, like the meeting got delayed.
Ah, okay.
When you learn and recall language in those fixed functional chunks, sentences roll out faster because you're only recalling one large unit, not 5 separate words that you have to apply grammar to.
Right. And native speakers use idiomatic phrases all the time. Those are all chunks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And finally, the most high-intensity training drill for the mind, the 5-second rule.
The 5-second rule, okay.
Whenever a thought enters your mind in your native language, a frustration, a comment, whatever, you immediately try to rephrase it in English within 5 seconds. This forces instantaneous speed and reaction time.
That sounds incredibly exhausting. Do I
Yeah.
have to nail it every time? What if I fail the 5-second challenge and I can't produce the sentence?
You won't nail it every time, especially not at the start, and that failure is actually the point.
Really?
Yes. You are forcing friction onto your mental pathways. That repeated attempt, even if it results in stumbling, it alerts your brain that the old translation pathway is inefficient and that it needs to build a faster, direct route.
So that cognitive effort is exactly the signal we need to send to the brain. And that brings us to the scientific underpinning of everything we've discussed, the actual neurological reality of it all, neural plasticity.
This is the scientific justification for all the hard work. Neural plasticity is simply the brain's ability to change its structure and function in response to experience and learning.
Right.
It confirms that the adult brain is absolutely capable of learning complex skills like a new language, though it requires consistent, intensive effort to force that change.
So when we follow the advice, doing the daily 5-minute mouth gym, practicing shadowing, forcing those quick mental translations, what is physically happening inside our brain?
You're strengthening the communication lines between your neurons. When you repeat a sound or a phrase, you're strengthening the synaptic connection that relays that information, a process neurologists call long-term potentiation, or LTP.
It's like using a hiking path over and over until it becomes a paved road.
That's a perfect way to put it. The more you use the English pathway, the stronger that signal gets. But here's the most exciting part, and this has been validated by modern brain imaging studies.
What's that?
Sustained intensive practice doesn't just strengthen connections. It leads to visible structural changes. Specifically, studies show increased gray matter density and enhanced white matter integrity in the language-related areas of the brain.
And which areas are we talking about? The ones critical for speech?
We're talking about Broca's area, which is crucial for speech production and articulation velocity, and Wernicke's area, which is essential for language comprehension and linking concepts to sound.
So when you're doing your mouth drills and shadowing, you are literally making these areas of your brain more robust and more efficient.
Yeah.
So the science validates the advice completely. Consistency isn't just some motivational phrase. It leads to your brain literally rewiring itself. You're building that stronger, faster superhighway for your thoughts that bypasses the translation bottleneck.
The brain adapts and optimizes based entirely on what you force it to do frequently and intensely. If you spend 5 minutes a day trying to speak fast, the brain will eventually organize itself to allow you to speak fast.
Fantastic. So let's summarize our mission accomplished. We set out to turn the learner into a language athlete, and we achieve fluency by training the mouth through targeted muscle memory drills, articulation exercises, and the coordination practice of shadowing.
And we train the mind by actively stopping translation, using visualization, chunking, and speed drills like the 5-second rule.
Right.
And the overarching message has to be consistency. Daily practice, even for just 5 to 15 minutes, is neurologically more powerful than sporadic 4-hour marathon sessions.
And we cannot overstate the importance of overcoming the fear of making mistakes. Fluency is a function of usage, not of silence. Okay, so here's a final provocative thought for you to carry into your practice today. The act of speaking is a powerful learning tool in itself.
Yes.
Don't wait for your brain to be perfect. Prioritize vocalizing the language, even if it feels clumsy at first. Your brain will follow your mouth, making connections faster through production and active engagement than it ever will through just passive listening or academic study alone.
So take that thought and turn it into action. Challenge yourself today. Attempt the 1-minute talk challenge. Speak continuously for 60 seconds on any topic, your lunch, your mood, your goals. Just focus purely on flow and getting the language out.
We hope this deep dive into your sources helps you unlock that next level of speaking confidence and, eliminate that painful translation lag. Thank you for joining us.
Keep moving, keep speaking, and we'll see you for the next deep dive.